All right, how's it going, everybody? Jason Clark here with Red State Relocate. Uh, as always, we have a wonderful interview for you today. Hey, in this video, we're going to be interviewing Lee Shane. He is with Tennessee Mountain Real Estate out of Maryville, Tennessee, really the East Tennessee area, anything from Knoxville and that whole region. So if you're thinking about moving out to that area, Lee Shane is going to be a great realtor for you to look up and to work with. He's a great guy. In this interview, we talk about how long he's been in Tennessee. We just talk about as a buyer for yourself what it's going to take in order to win in this competitive buyer's market. And we also talk about some of his videos that he's made. One of his most popular videos on his channel, and he does have a YouTube channel. I highly recommend checking it out. I'll put it in the description. Was a video he made. It's really not even a real estate video. It was about the Freedom Convoy that was passing through his area, and he was on an overpass, and it got a lot of interest, and people really liked it. And so he's a great guy. He shares our values. He's a good dude, and we had a fun chat. And again, if you're looking to move out to the Tennessee area, I highly recommend you give Lee Shane a shout out and give him a contact and tell him Jason at Red State Relocate sent you. So enjoy this interview, and hope you have a good day. Bye-bye. All right, everybody, how are you doing today? Hey, we have a wonderful guest today. We're bringing Lee Shane from East Tennessee. Lee, welcome to Red State Relocate. Thanks for being on the program.
Well, thank you, Jason. I appreciate you inviting me to sit in on this interview and talk about what East Tennessee has to offer.
Awesome. And from what it appears, East Tennessee has a lot to offer. You guys are growing like crazy, correct?
We are. It seems that there's a lot of people who decided that Tennessee is the place to be. I mean, after all, this is God's country.
Mm-hmm. That's true, man. That's true. I don't. Maybe later on I'll tell you a story. Stick around to the end. You know how they do that on YouTube. Stick around. I'll tell you a story about. I think one of my favorite experiences in life. And I don't know if I told you. We talked on the phone a while back, but man, it was in Tennessee. It was in Nashville at the Ryman Auditorium. It's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. So, so real quick, just about yourself. Tell us about what got you into real estate, how long you've been in real estate, and just again the market for who Red State Relocate. Let me rephrase. Red State Relocate markets to the politically conservative Californian, or really just any Californian that's just kind of looking around their neighborhood and realizing that it's not working for them anymore. That they no longer are served by their local leaders, and they don't like the way their businesses are being treated. They don't like the way they're being treated, or they don't like what their kids are being taught. Right. So with that in mind, kind of understanding the client or audience we're talking to, who's Lee Shane, and how can you help these people come live a better life in East Tennessee?
So a little bit about myself. Pretty much a native of Tennessee. Lived in Middle Tennessee for a good portion of my life. Moved to East Tennessee after about in the military and a few jobs in other states. Always seem to come back to Tennessee. It's home, very conservative state, and we plan on keeping it that way. We are God-loving, gun-toting, just American patriots, and this is what I love about Tennessee. And the people here, the same way. We have very similar views, and I think that's the people who are coming this way see that and share the same values that we do, and we're appreciative of that. The last thing we want to do is change our way of life.
No, and that's great. And I think sometimes when I'll say like one of my hobbies at times could be actually digging into the data at times for where Californians are moving to and what's happening to states where they're moving to. And, Tennessee being a big one. Obviously, Tennessee, you guys are getting a lot more probably from New York and kind of more of those areas too. Is that correct?
That is true. The majority of my sales have been from California, people relocating here. I've had several from New York or upstate New York, a couple from the north, like around Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, 90% of my sales in the last 2 years have been people relocating from California, looking to get into a more conservative state.
90%. Wow, that's impressive. That's a lot.
Yep.
That's a lot. Yeah. And so, and kind of where I was going with looking at the data, when we look at, I know it's real popular for people, and you see it online, right? I see it in your comments and comments all across the internet. Don't move here, Californians. We're closed. We don't want your politics, et cetera. But when we look at Idaho, right? Californians have been moving there for decades. Idaho's
Yeah.
getting more red, right? They're passing constitutional carry. They've got Republican representation across the board, and
Sure.
California's moving to Idaho is not anything new, right? It's not a new phenomenon, and
Yeah.
and so they're getting more red. I look at Tennessee or a lot of the just even the southern states. Look at what happened to Florida, right, with COVID. So many they were
Yeah.
I think they were Democrat, 200,000 plus Democrat before COVID, and now they're 100,000 plus Republican
Yeah.
just in
It's,
2 years.
it's
And so a
a
lot of people are
beautiful
saying, no,
thing.
now I can understand the housing issue, right? We could say, okay, you're driving up the price of housing, but when you talk about the way of
Yes.
life, you're not changing our way of life. My hope is anyway, and the people that I market to and try to reach out to move to areas like yours is, I would say for those of you who you work with or who would be watching this, to trust that the people you're moving to East Tennessee are not going to change their way of life is is
Right.
uh, is that
And like
hopefully that's a good deal.
we've been very fortunate that the people who seek out my services are like-minded people,
Hmm.
and I mean we don't discriminate, of course, but again they seek me out. I don't know if it's because I share their values or that they're just wanting to come to the more conservative type states. Uh, so yeah, as long as the people who are moving here that are seeing this video, obviously they're concerned about the way that they're being treated, their jobs, their incomes, their the way of life, and they don't want to be infringed upon. And Tennessee is very strong. Our representative here stands up for what we believe. Uh, so I welcome everybody who wants to come. We just ask that you leave your other views behind and not try and inflict those type of political values on us.
Hmm.
It won't go over well. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
lot of, like you said, there's a lot of those things out there on the internet that says, the state's closed or we won't be welcome. You are welcome as long as you are coming here for the right reason, and not just because you want to change us, but
Mhm.
because you believe in what we stand for.
Yeah. Now, what are you seeing yourself? Being boots on the ground there in Tennessee. I mean, I know Nashville is really booming, and oftentimes cities can just be more liberal just naturally, right? Like, when I
It's
lived in
true.
Denver, it was surrounded by conservative, red-blooded American folks. But man, you've got this
Mhm.
blue dot right in the middle of this red state, and Nashville
Yeah.
seems to kind of be the same way, and it's really growing. So, are you seeing any change in the politics of the state in general, or maybe just in East Tennessee? Are you seeing any? Is it going further left? Is it kind of staying, kind of still good place to live kind of thing, or what do you see 5, 10 years down the road?
Well, God willing, we're going to be bright red still. But
Hmm.
you're right. Nashville is kind of becoming more democratic. They have democratic leadership there.
Hmm.
Knoxville also has a democratic mayor, but I think her time is limited.
Hmm.
People are kind of tired of that type of politics. But the majority of the state and what I see, we're still very conservative. But you're right. Those main hubs, Memphis, Nashville, Knoxville,
Hmm.
they do tend to be a little more blue. But I can't speak for Nashville or Memphis, but I think Knoxville is going to swing back red again.
Yeah, yeah, I like Knoxville, man. I was looking at that, uh, city. I was going to say state, but yeah, I was looking at Knoxville a handful of years ago. I actually really was really looking at moving out there. I'm always looking at going all kinds of other places, but now if I'm not mistaken, you're out of Maryville. Is that correct?
Well, my office is out of Maryville.
Hmm.
I actually live in Spear County, better known for Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, my office is in Maryville, And Maryville seems to be exploding, not only with business and industry, but it's the hot spot of my entire market. It is the hot spot that everybody wants to move to Maryville.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that has to do with, like I said, not only the business that's moving there, but we have been rated one of the top school districts in the
Hmm.
state.
Right, right. Okay, good. That's actually a good segue because that was actually one of my next questions. A lot of
Mhm.
California just, our school systems are terrible. We're often ranked near the bottom in terms of graduation rates and just education overall. And unfortunately, we have, the highest paid teachers in the country, and the product that comes out. Sometimes, obviously it's not always the teacher's fault because we've got this massive, massive union here that really I don't want to say ties their hands, but doesn't allow the system to kind of weed out some of the maybe people that shouldn't be teachers, and
Absolutely.
our results, right? They show for it, and so a lot of people want to leave because they're saying, "Hey, I want to get my kid out of here." And Californians, as you know, they're coming with a lot of cash, and they're saying, "Hey, I can buy a house." And private schools are an option. So what about like private schools? Are you seeing a lot of? I'll say, are you seeing a lot of Californians or people moving there? Looking at private school options or homeschool options? Is that more prevalent there in Tennessee?
Private schools are very prevalent, primarily because of, again, uh, religious beliefs. We have
Mm-hmm.
some very strong, very large private schools, Christian schools. Uh, I don't know. I'm sure there's other denominations out there. Uh, our church has a private school, and there's a waiting list. Uh, even
Mm-hmm.
for the daycare, all the way up through graduation, there's a waiting list of people wanting to get in. And it's not just because of tuition rates; it's because of the values, again, that are being taught. Uh, our public school system, for the most part, is good. Like I said, Maryville was rated in the top 5 of the state. Knoxville, I mean, I guess any state or any city is going to have their better school districts than others just because of demographics. But uh, we're teaching what needs to be taught. They're keeping critical race out of the schools. Uh, I think that's a good reason people tend to move here is because of the education. The area that I'm
Mm-hmm.
in, we've got we've got, of course, University of Tennessee, we've got Walter State, we've got Philippi, we've got uh, a handful of Christian colleges. I mean, you can go to a college within a stone's throw of anywhere you're at here.
Yeah.
So we have good higher learning, and it shows. I mean, a lot of the people who are coming out of these schools continue to carry on with the values that bring them here in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Now, University of Tennessee, right, being one of the major university there in Knoxville. You know, Obviously California, our university system here is just punching out very, very hard left leaning kids. And
Right.
sometimes I joke with people. I go, you raise your kid up to be this respectable, nice kid. They go to high school and they go to college. You send them off to college in California thinking they're going to get this great education. And I always joke about that niece of yours that she's coming home for Thanksgiving, and she's a junior at Berkeley, and you just don't want her to show up because she's just going to complain about Thanksgiving the whole time, and
Yeah.
so it's terrible, right? But it's I mean I laugh, but it's horrible. You got parents spending hundreds of
True.
thousands of dollars, and they're making their kids miserable, right? And
Yeah.
so. University of Tennessee, if somebody wanted to move to East Tennessee and they still want their kid to get a good education, what's UT like? Is how are the kids coming out of that school?
So from what I hear, of course, my kids are all grown, but the people I talk to who do associate with the university, the kids are still coming out fairly level-headed, good education.
Hmm.
I've only heard of one instance of, um, uh, let's say, not so popular perspective from one professor, uh, and the parents handled that best way they knew, and that was to pull their child out of the school.
Mm,
But all in all, I believe that the school is still holding true to our conservative values. I know there's probably young kids because they come from all over. I mean, it's not just Tennessee where they're coming from.
yeah.
They come from all over to go to this university. So I'm sure that they're bringing with uh, some outside influences. But right now, I believe that we are still holding strong.
Good. No, that's awesome. That's fantastic. You just went from 90% Californian based to about 98% California based right now with that. Because yeah, I mean, parents want to send their kids to college and have the kids actually come out, halfway decent. That's not too much to ask. It didn't used to be too
Yeah,
much to
with
ask.
education.
What's that?
With an education, I mean, the reason
Yeah,
that we send them to school is to gain that knowledge and to develop the skills that they need. And I believe that our universities here are doing exactly that.
wonderful, wonderful. Oh, that's great. That's great. Good job, Tennessee. So kind of coming back to the Californians that are moving there. Obviously, in California, when homeowners are selling, they're selling in the leverage position. It's major
Sure.
sellers market right now. They're right there calling the shots, and they're walking away with a lot of cash. They're going
Yep.
to Tennessee with you, and they're saying, "Hey, Lee, I want to buy a house." What are some things that homeowners in California, I'll say, in terms of structuring a deal, when it comes time for you to put that offer for that home, and there's 5 or 10 other offers, what are some things that these homeowners should consider, think about, have done ahead of time? But and then also for yourself, what do you do to make those offers competitive?
Sure. So, of course, we all know cash is king, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the clients who are coming from California, of course, are selling a home that is greatly higher in value than what we have here. Uh, so they're coming with a pocket full of cash, and they're outbidding most of the people who are trying to buy these homes. And I hate to say it, but they've kind of outpriced the average local who wants to upgrade their home or just to relocate, because they do have the buying power to do that. Uh, it's definitely a seller's market here, so the prices are up to begin with. The the folks who are selling here they themselves are having a hard time finding a home, and I caution everybody when they decide to sell their home here
Mm-hmm.
to be careful, not just to look at the dollar figure that you're going to walk away from, because you have to go back out and buy something.
Right.
It's not always easy. The housing market is tough, and we
Mm-hmm.
have way more buyers than we do sellers. There's a lot of new construction going on, and people come here to figure that they can rent while they're building or rent while they're learning the area, and that's a great idea. But there's no place to rent,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because everybody's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep in mind that if you do decide to you know move this direction, that it pays to have a good realtor that's on your side, that is familiar with the market, familiar with the area, and knows how to get you into a home. The Like I said, our rental market is tight, and you're going to pay probably, let's just say, for a 3-bed, 2-bath home in a decent area, surrounding Maryville or Knoxville area, probably upwards of $2,500 a month if you can find one. The days of the $800 to $1,200 a month rent, they're non-existent. They
Mm-hmm.
really are.
Yeah, I was reading a day or two ago that they were talking about rents across the nation or just through the roof, 20-30% year over year. And they were even saying in Miami that rents were up 50% in Miami, just year over year. What was interesting was that in San Francisco and San Jose, where I'm from, they're down. They're actually down 5%, right, in that range. So it's
Well,
doesn't take a rocket scientist to see who's leaving where and going where. Yeah.
yeah,
And it's like I said, it's not surprising. I mean, it's people vote with their feet and their money, and they're taking it out of
yeah,
California. and they're going to states like yours. And like you said, cash is king. And I do think sometimes that, there's with how do I say, it's making sure that offer to that buyer is, is, how do I say, because there's going to be multiple cash offers oftentimes, right?
We do get multiple cash offers, and I don't know how they do business in California, but we're starting to see the use of what we call an escalation clause,
Oh, those are
which
coming back. Okay.
yeah, we're seeing a lot of escalation clause, and basically, if anybody doesn't know what they are, uh, I've got a video on that they can watch.
Mm-hmm.
But it basically says I'm willing to pay X number of dollars uh, in increments of whatever they decide. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's basically like an auction almost, a
Yeah.
silent auction,
Yeah.
and we're seeing a lot of those. I mean, I use them quite a bit.
Really? Okay.
Uh,
Good. Yeah,
I
California,
do.
we don't. They stopped using escalation clauses during COVID. It was pretty much just, we're getting 20 offers on a house, and there was just no time to go through everybody's escalation. It was a highest and best offer, and whatever you got, you got. And it was unfortunate for a lot of buyers. And honestly, I think personally, I won't go too much into a tangent, but I think that kind of does limit uh, what the homeowner could have sold the house for. If somebody was saying, my first and best is going to be X amount, but maybe it could have been a little higher if they had ended up getting into that bidding war. But we really don't get into the bidding war anymore like it used to be, because now it's just highest and best. There's 20 offers, and the agent will go take those 20 to their to their client, and they'll do it that way. So it's
Yeah,
yeah, it's tough. But
we
no,
see the
that's good
same
to know
thing.
that you're out there, you're on, and not only making the offer competitive. And what Red State Relocate does is tries to just get a good conservative valued agent like yourself, and that's really what I'm trying to do with Red State Relocate, is just keep everything in house. We know that if you're a conservative valued person in California, you want to move to Tennessee, that Lee's going to he's going to be on your side. And if you want to wear your Trump shirt or your Trump hat, you can do that. He ain't gonna try to get mad at you or something. So
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Now, and one thing I want to do, I did want to bring up your YouTube channel real quick. And here,
sure.
let me throw it up, let people see it. And let me hold on. I'm a little slow poke here a little bit. There we are. Got that. And yeah, there it is. So let me click this. All right. So yeah, so we got your YouTube channel here, and like you mentioned, you had the video. I remember seeing your video there on Maryville, talking about the
Mhm.
growth, and I saw the Amazon Center was going in on there, and so you just got a lot of good videos in here, a lot of market type videos, and moving to Tennessee and what to look out for, what not to look out for. So anybody watching, highly recommend come in and check out these videos. They're going to give you a really good kind of feel for what they're getting themselves into, for sure. The real one, the one I wanted to bring up, of course, is my favorite video of yours. Is actually, let me click this out here. Is your Freedom Convoy video that you did, and by looking at um, the amount of views you got 11,000 views on that. So congratulations on that one.
Thank you.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that
Got a
wasn't.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, people who look at my channel, they'll realize that. I mean, I try and keep it real estate related,
Mm-hmm.
but I also it's not just the boring, you know, same old, same old. I try and educate people not only on what it is about real estate, but I want them to see what we do here. I mean, that's why I go to different communities, try and post different events that are going on in the area. And there's a lot to do here, but it was really exciting when we had a huge turnout for the Freedom Convoy. And again, that's what we stand for.
I got to unmute myself. Sorry, I've got an office next to me, and so sometimes when they get talking, I try to mute. So sorry, unmuted. But no, that gets really into the point of when I'm talking about conservative agent people like yourself who are willing to just say, hey, this is who I am. This is my values. I'm not hiding it, right? And I think that video there, having 11,000 views on that video, I mean, I think that says it all. I think it says that people came to a real estate channel and watch that video, right, more than any other video on that channel. And that's why I think sometimes I talk to people and I talk about what it is I'm doing, and they go, oh, that's an interesting niche that you're into. You should always get your niche. And I go, I go, look,
Yeah.
if America is a 50-50 nation, and if they say we're almost center right, then that means we have anywhere from 175 million to 200 million conservative valued people. Now, maybe one of those kids or people is a 5-year-old kid, right? But he's going to buy a house someday. And so
Someday.
these are conservative value people. That is a pool of 200 million people that trust you right off the bat. You're already part of their tribe, right? They know you're on their side. They know that Lee's not going to take a dime of the commission, right, from the sale of their house and spend it on things that they don't agree with. So they can trust that, and there's value in that, right? And I just go, I'm sorry, but 200 million people is not a niche. It's a massive market opportunity, and I really wish a lot more realtors would just be like you know, and just say, this is who I am. You're not preaching politics. You're not telling people what to think. You're getting in arguments. You're just saying, this is who I am. This is how East Tennessee is, and you know, come join the party, but right, don't mess up the party. Don't mess it up. So anyway, any thoughts on that? I mean, in terms of, I know a lot of realtors have always been taught to be Republicrats, as they say. Don't pick a side. Be the Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan says Republicans and Democrats both buy speakers. But I mean, if you're going to pick a niche, I mean, why not go to people who share your values, who you align with, who you can help find schools, and you know what communities they like. Anything to add? Where am I off base on my little tangent
No,
there?
you're right. You're right on target there, and we don't hide the fact that we are conservative. Uh, if someone does come in and I find someone who we share opposite values, we will serve them to the best of our ability, and I certainly try not to let politics interfere with my business. But you definitely want somebody who you click with and that you feel comfortable with. So again, uh, when you have these term like-minded people that share the same values, it's easier to help them because they understand where you're coming from, and it makes it easier for us to help them find what they're looking for because again, we know what they're looking for. And so, like I said, it's a good thing. Your channel's great. The idea is fantastic, and it helps put uh, conservative buyers with conservative agents.
Yeah, yeah. There's another company out there called Conservative Move. His name is Paul Chabot. He was actually one of the people that I found a handful of years back, or a few years back anyway, and really kind of planted the seed for what this is. And I thought it was brilliant, right? I thought it was great. He's got Law Enforcement Move. He markets to law enforcement community in California. He lives in Texas now, but I
Okay.
thought I think about McDonald's. I use the McDonald's analogy all the time to think that if that competition is good, right? So to have Red State Relocate, to have Conservative Move, I wish there was 10 or 20 more businesses like this, because I think right now a lot of homeowners, they don't even know it's an option for them right now to have a conservative valued realtor, right? That's not even in their mind. And I use the McDonald's model that McDonald's started out as this little fast food, kind of, little shop, store, whatever, restaurant in Southern California. And if it wasn't for competition, if it wasn't for other fast food businesses, say, how do I say, like not just the competition making them better, but by having more competition, make fast food an option for people, right? Nobody would have known that fast food was an option if McDonald's had just stayed McDonald's, a small, little place in Southern California. So by having competition, by now knowing that, hey, I can go to the diner if I want, or I can go to a restaurant if I want, but I want to go to McDonald's, right? It's convenient for me, and that's what I want. And I think I would love to see a lot more businesses like mine, like Paul Chabot's, just come out and say, "Hey, this is an option for you. Our value proposition to you, like I said earlier, is we're not going to spend your hard-earned equity on your house or your purchase, on things you don't believe in." I always tell people, I say, Gavin Newsom won't see one dime for his hair gel fund, okay, and Nancy Pelosi won't buy any ice cream for her $20,000 refrigerators, right? That she's got two of, by the way, that we paid for. So, those things with me and the people that I work with in what I'm trying to build here, that's really what what we're trying to do. So I'll close out with this. Lee, I really appreciate you taking the time. But in terms of final question for you, really is just Tennessee itself. Californians have a lot of options when they sell this big house and they've got money in the
Mhm.
pocket and they go, "Hey, I can go anywhere." Why should they go to Tennessee, and why should they go to East Tennessee specifically, and have you help them find a home?
Well, first they need to come see you so you can put them in touch with one of us. But
Absolutely.
Tennessee, we have so much to offer, and not only just the area that I serve, the East Tennessee side. I'm in the mountains, so we have an awful lot of outdoor activities if that's what you like. The school systems are great, and I can't forget we have no state income tax here. Our property taxes are extremely low. I'll give you a real quick idea. So, in a city such as Maryville or even Knoxville, 3 bed, 2 bath house, your property taxes are going to be under $3,000 a year. So, just give you an idea. Uh, so, like I said, we have the, the great outdoors. We got great schools. We got low taxes and no state income tax. Uh, and of course, we are still a red state.
And you have Marsha Blackburn, and she don't mess around.
We do. We love Marsha. I'll tell you something about Marsha. So I email Marsha and send her letters, and she really does reply.
Really?
Is
Oh, good.
Yeah, she replies. So does Bill Haggerty. I don't believe that these are form letters because of the way they're written,
Yeah.
and I feel confident if I need to pick up the phone and call Marsha Blackburn myself, she's there. Diane Harshberger, she holds little town halls all over the state. So our representation is strong. They want to hold true to our conservative values, and it's uh, it's just going in the right direction. We need to stay strong.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I think you're in good shape. Like I say, we got what I think 6 million people in California voted for Donald Trump in the last election. I always say I think another 2 million didn't vote for him just because they didn't like his
Yeah,
personality, but they're conservative-minded people. And then I think just another 2 million figured he wasn't going to win the state and just didn't vote. And so we have a
yeah.
pool in California of 10 million conservative valued people. And I guarantee you 95, 99% of them want to get out of here. And I think they'd make great neighbors for the folks in Tennessee and all across this country. And if there's anything that I would say to the people out there on the internet is to quit telling California is not to move, to your state. Cause I'll tell you right now when Ted Cruz beat Beto O'Rourke by 2 percentage points, I think Texas could really maybe use a couple million more Californians that share their values, and I definitely
We
know
certainly,
Colorado would love to have a few million Californians moving in there, and so hopefully with what we're putting together here and partnerships like you and me, and just getting the word out that this is an option, and hopefully homeowners will know this too, that hey, not everybody moving there is out to change their community. So any
right.
final words here, Lee? I really appreciate you coming on
Well,
and spending time.
all I
But
can say, well, I appreciate the invite. All I can say is that we do need to get the word out. We need to let people in California know that you know that you're out there doing this because we know that when people decide to make the move, they just they'll either find a house and pick that realtor, not knowing who they are or what their values are.
yeah,
And at least by using your services, they can get connected with conservative agents and help them get the best bang for their buck.
yeah, yeah. Not much more we can ask for there. Get good value for your money. Live in a good neighborhood. Kids go to a good school. Find a nice church, and
Yep.
God, there's just not much. What more can you ask for? And to do it in Tennessee, man, especially where you got all that good country music. I'm a country music fan, so
I,
that's
um,
my jam. Well, all right, Lee. Well, thank you so much. Gosh, I appreciate you coming on. I hope to have you on again, and we'll just maybe just keep doing this,
anytime.
keep chatting, keep moving people all across this country. And I'll say anybody watching, hey, look, if you live not only in California, but you live anywhere in this country, you live in Portland or Chicago, you're in New York City right now, and you got the blue state blues, and you want to get the heck out of there, and you've decided to go to East Tennessee, I'm telling you right now, Lee Shane is going to take fantastic care of you. And so with that, Lee, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Wish you all the best in your business. When you prosper, we all prosper.
Indeed. Indeed. All right. Well, God bless you, Lee.
God bless you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now.